know, Riza. I mean, there's a lot of shady characters.
Hello. Drama lovers, welcome back to my channel today. They entertain some other strategies, like kidnapping, but laugh those off. Jack recalls a plot from one of Tracy's novels. It would require them to make their spouses jealous. They simultaneously realize that Victor and Diane would react strongly to them being together. Just as quickly, they realize this would drive Victor over the edge. It would be the nuclear option. Jack, Nikki, Y&R Victor pops up in time to mock them. Jack leaps up to trash him, but is immediately distracted when Diane enters. She refuses to talk to her husband, but she's sure to say that Victor performed a service by exposing what Jack is really like. Matt tells Chelsea he's disappearing in the Vegas hotel room. Chelsea calls Sharon with an update. Sharon panics when she hears that Matt has been found and Adam and Nick have gone missing. There's a knock at the door, so Chelsea gets off the call. It's Matt. He barges in and they start the insults. He finds her shrill. She thinks he's a creep. When he's cagey, she starts to bellow, demanding to know where Nick and Adam are. As she begs, he taunts and she begs more. This is all pretty hot for him, but after joking some more about Nick being pretty dead, Matt announces he has to disappear like a Vegas magician. He leaves. Matt, Chelsea, Y&R Adam tells Chelsea he's in the closet. Adam wakes up with a headache in the storage room. After making sure Nick is alive, he props him up and unties him. By the looks of him, he guesses Matt was right that he's an addict. When he brings this up, Nick dismisses it as mind games. His brother doesn't seem convinced. They assume they are still in the basement. Nick pieces together how he wound up there. Slipping, he admits that he's on opioids and Matt wants to keep him addicted. Adam thinks that explains his recent behavior. He asks his brother if he's an addict, but Nick lies and claims he was only drugged today. Looking around, Adam finds a phone and calls Chelsea. He says they are trapped in a closet. He keeps her on the line as she walks the halls to find them. Nick manages to grab his bag of pills behind Adam's back before she can arrive to free them. Adam, Nick, Y&R once they return to their suite. Nick stumbles into the bathroom to take a hit. Adam tells Chelsea his brother claimed that Matt gave him a heavy dose. He can only hope that Nick is telling the truth when he claims that it was the first time he used. Adam, Chelsea, Y&R Sharon tips Noah off. Noah hurries into Crimson Lights to get the latest news from his mother. Sharon admits that Matt has been found. Unfortunately, Nick seems to have vanished. Noah is sure this never would have happened if he'd followed his father to Vegas, as he wished. Noah, Sharon, Y&R Michael's timeless gift for Lauren is amazed when Michael pulls out all the stops to woo her in her new office. Amid flowers, candles, and champagne, he tells her how proud he is of her. He gives her a watch. It has no hands. The lawyer explains this is symbolic of their timeless love and promises to support her in all she does. Taking this job may have been the bravest thing she's ever done. He can't help but admire the light it's brought to her eyes. They toast to recklessness and to how there's nothing more reckless than love. Before departing, he puts on some music and dances his wife around the room. Michael, Lauren, Y&R, the final scenes, Victor exits the club with a smirk, leaving Jack appalled when Diane sides with the mustache. He feels betrayed. That's exactly how I felt, she snaps at him before walking out. As Nikki tries to calm Jack down, he tells her that something has got to give, and soon. Nick refuses to let Chelsea contact Sharon until they figure out where Matt is. They need to stop her and Noah from coming into harm's way. Adam, Nick, Chelsea, Y&R, Sharon receives a text from Nick's phone. It says he has Matt and she needs to come to Vegas if she wants to see him go down. Sharon and Noah immediately respond that they are on the way. The text was actually from Matt, who had swiped Nick's phone. Getting Sharon's response fills him with glee. The tension in Genoa City reaches a boiling point as multiple storylines collide, drawing several key players into a web of suspicion, betrayal, and escalating danger. What begins as a series of calculated moves quickly spirals into something far more sinister, leaving lives hanging in the balance and forcing longtime rivals and allies alike to reconsider just how far they are willing to go. At the center of the chaos is a carefully orchestrated trap, one that has been laid with precision and patience. The target, unsuspecting at first, is slowly drawn in through a mix of manipulation, emotional pressure, and false assurances. Every step forward seems harmless, even logical, yet beneath the surface lies a carefully concealed threat waiting to snap shut. As the pieces fall into place, it becomes clear that this is no ordinary scheme. It's a dangerous setup designed not just to intimidate, but to destroy. Meanwhile, whispers of unease ripple through those closest to the situation. There are subtle signs, missed calls, cryptic messages, and behavior that doesn't quite add up. For some, these red flags ignite suspicion early on, but for others, the realization comes far too late. The deeper the victim is pulled into the trap, the harder it becomes to escape. Trust, once a source of strength, now becomes a vulnerability that the mastermind exploits without hesitation. Elsewhere, Jack and Nikki find themselves facing a dilemma that could change everything. Both have long histories with Victor, and neither is naive about the lengths he will go to protect his interests. However, the current situation forces them to confront a troubling possibility. What if Victor has finally gone too far? The idea of taking drastic action against him, something they might once have dismissed outright, now feels not only plausible, but necessary. Their conversations are tense and layered with years of shared experiences, grudges, and uneasy alliances. Jack approaches the matter with a strategic mindset, carefully weighing the risks and consequences. Nikki, on the other hand, is driven by a mix of emotional exhaustion and fierce determination. She knows Victor better than anyone, and that knowledge both empowers and terrifies her. Together, they begin to explore options that could effectively neutralize Victor's influence, even if it means crossing lines they once vowed never to cross. The concept of going nuclear isn't taken lightly. It represents a point of no return, a decision that could permanently alter relationships, reputations, and the balance of power in Genoa City. For Jack, it's about protecting his legacy and ensuring that Victor can no longer manipulate events from behind the scenes. For Nikki, it's more personal. It's about reclaiming control and putting an end to the cycle of dominance and retaliation that has defined so much of her life. As their plan begins to take shape, the stakes grow higher. There are risks involved at every turn, and the margin for error is razor thin. One misstep could expose their intentions and give Victor the upper hand once again. Yet despite the danger, both Jack and Nikki feel a sense of urgency that cannot be ignored. Time is running out, and the consequences of inaction could be devastating. Back at the heart of the trap, the situation becomes increasingly dire. The victim, now fully ensnared, starts to sense that something is terribly wrong. The environment feels off, the interaction strained, and the once clear path forward now seems clouded with uncertainty. Panic begins to set in, but by this point, escape is no longer simple. The trap has been designed to isolate and disorient, cutting off avenues of support and leaving the victim vulnerable. Those on the outside who suspect the truth scramble to intervene. They piece together clues, retrace steps, and attempt to anticipate the next move of the orchestrator. But the clock is ticking, and the deeper they dig, the more complicated the situation becomes. It's a race against time to uncover the full scope of the plan and find a way to dismantle it before it's too late. The mastermind behind the trap remains a shadowy figure, operating with chilling confidence. Every action is calculated, every contingency considered. There's a sense of satisfaction in watching the plan unfold, as if the chaos and fear are part of a larger game. Yet even the most meticulous plans are not immune to disruption. Unpredictable variables, human emotions, unexpected alliances, and sheer determination begin to threaten the integrity of the scheme. As tensions mount, alliances are tested. Some characters find themselves questioning loyalties they once took for granted, while others step up in surprising ways. Courage emerges in unlikely places, and the desire to protect loved ones drives individuals to take risks they never imagined they would face. In the midst of uncertainty, these moments of bravery shine through, offering a glimmer of hope. Jack and Nikki's plan continues to evolve as they gather more information and refine their strategy. They know that confronting Victor directly could backfire, so they consider more subtle approaches, leveraging influence, exposing secrets, and cutting off resources. Each option carries its own set of challenges, but together they form a multifaceted strategy aimed at weakening Victor's grip on power. Their discussions grow more intense as they delve deeper into the implications of their actions. There's an unspoken understanding that once they move forward, there's no turning back. The potential fallout is immense, affecting not just them, but everyone connected to the situation. Yet despite these concerns, they remain resolute. The need for change outweighs the fear of consequences. Meanwhile, the victim's struggle reaches a critical point. The realization of being trapped becomes undeniable, triggering a desperate fight for survival. Every instinct kicks in, driving them to search for any possible way out. It's a harrowing ordeal, filled with moments of fear, determination, and fleeting hope. The question remains, will help arrive in time, or will the trap claim its intended prize? As the story unfolds, the lines between right and wrong blur. Characters are forced to make difficult choices, often with incomplete information and under immense pressure. Morality becomes a gray area, shaped by personal motivations and the urgency of the moment. In this environment, even the best intentions can lead to unintended consequences. Victor, though not always physically present, looms large over everything. His influence is felt in every decision, every conflict, and every calculated risk. Whether he is directly involved in the trap or simply benefiting from the chaos, his presence adds another layer of complexity to an already volatile situation. For Jack and Nikki, this only reinforces their belief that decisive action is necessary. The climax builds as multiple threads converge. The rescue effort intensifies, the trap begins to unravel, and Jack and Nikki move closer to executing their plan. It's a moment of high drama, where every second counts and the outcome remains uncertain. Emotions run high, and the stakes couldn't be greater. In the end, the resolution of the trap brings both relief and new questions. While the immediate danger may be addressed, the aftermath leaves lasting impacts on everyone involved. Relationships are strained, trust is shaken, and the balance of power shifts in subtle but significant ways. For Jack and Nikki, their decision to consider extreme measures marks a turning point. Whether they follow through or pull back at the last moment, the very act of contemplating such a move changes them. It signifies a willingness to challenge the status quo and confront a force that has long seemed unstoppable. As Genoa City begins to process the events, one thing is clear. Nothing will ever be quite the same again. The trap may have been set and sprung, but its ripple effects will continue to shape the lives of those involved for a long time to come. And as always, in a world where power and ambition collide, the next chapter is already waiting to unfold. The fallout from the dangerous trap doesn't settle quickly. In fact, it sends shockwaves through Genoa City that continue to reverberate long after the immediate crisis appears to be contained. What initially seemed like a single calculated scheme reveals itself to be part of something far more layered, forcing everyone involved to confront not only what happened, but why it happened and who ultimately stands to gain. In the aftermath, the victim struggles to regain a sense of stability. The psychological toll of being manipulated and nearly destroyed doesn't simply fade away. There are lingering doubts, flashes of fear, and an unsettling awareness that someone was able to orchestrate such a precise and personal attack. Recovery becomes a slow and uneven process, marked by moments of strength as well as vulnerability. Trust, once given freely, now feels like a risk. Those closest to the situation rally in support, but even their efforts are complicated by the emotional weight of what occurred. Guilt surfaces among those who missed the warning signs or hesitated when action might have made a difference. Each person replays the sequence of events in their mind,